Hello again and welcome to the Near Futurist podcast. My name is Guy Clapperton. And if you're a regular listener, you'll be all too well aware of what's going to happen next. Here's a quick plug for my media training service at Clapperton Media Training. Do you want to sound as confident as my interviewee in this episode? If you talk to the press or other media, are you worried you'll be misquoted, or they'll just publish their story and not yours? Clapperton Media Associates can help with coaching. Drop me a note, guy@clapperton.co.uk, and we'll arrange a time for an exploratory call. Now, back to the podcast. That's that out of the way. Now, this series, we've covered artificial intelligence and digital data for forecasting disasters. We've looked at photonic networks and other grand stuff. But this week and next, we're going to look at some of the smaller stuff. How is technology going to change our lives over the next half decade or so? And can we please have something to make it all easier? My guest agrees that IT should make the small stuff simpler, or if she doesn't agree, we'll soon hear about it. She's an award-winning marketing director with 16 years of business-to-consumer retail experience at brands and agencies. She's led campaigns from concept to delivery across various channels, passionate about analyzing consumer behavior to drive effective storytelling. She's marketing director of PlateUp, and her name is Jade de Thorpe. Jade, welcome.
Thank you for that lovely introduction, Guy. Thank you.
That's perfectly okay. Jade, you made a massive leap from the corporate world at Asda to the founding team of PlateUp. What was that light bulb moment, if indeed there was a light bulb moment, when you realized that technology wasn't just for Silicon Valley, but for solving the what's for dinner struggle?
Yeah, of course. So at Asda, I was working on multiple seasonal campaigns through the line, and we'd produce these gorgeous, big, beautiful campaigns for like Christmas or Easter or Halloween. And we spend hours perfecting the absolute perfect food shot, say like a roast chicken, the right angle, the right shade of brown, the right side accompaniments. And it's been so much time, and it was stunning, these beautiful, beautiful shots. And then the campaign would go live, and then I'd be even driving home that night going, but what should I cook for dinner? And it was kind of that light bulb moment for me, was that realizing we were doing these gorgeous pieces of work, but I was still going, I don't know what to cook. Do I want that chicken? Or I don't know. Do I want something different? And where am I going to get that from? Shall I stop at the shop on the way? That might be costing more money. I've got some food in the fridge. I don't want to waste that. So I'm still having this mental dilemma in my head. And that's where I thought there has to be a better way to connect these dots, because I'm still not answering customers' need and problem of what to cook for dinner tonight. And for me, that was the sort of moment where I thought there just has to be a way to kind of get this out there and make it easier for customers to get that recipe inspiration to the cooked dinner on their dinner table in a much easier format. And then one day I sat down with Connor, the founder of PlateUp, and Roger Burnley, who's the chairman of PlateUp, and we just had a conversation about what could PlateUp be? Could it bridge this gap? Could we actually be this middle ground between recipe boxes, a recipe site, and supermarkets? And to me, that was the moment, like, yes, if we can make this work, then we can actually solve customers' struggle of what's for dinner tonight.
It's not so much a struggle as a minor annoyance, but those minor annoyances can really sort of ramp up if there's a lot of them. I think life throws a lot of these little microaggressions about it. How has lowering the technical barriers allowed PlateUp to work on the human vibe of family life, if you like?
I think one of the biggest shifts for a startup like ours at the time, or those the barriers to testing have dropped dramatically with that. So we can take an idea and get it in front of real users and get their feedback very quickly. So that has enabled us to move faster and be more agile in the way that we can build and test and optimize different parts of the app to make it faster, really, make the whole process faster. So I think that technical barrier enables a lowering of that technical barrier has enabled us to just move a lot quicker and faster and actually react to how customers are using the app.
Okay, I mean, you've come from a retail giant like Asda, well, not like Asda, you've come from Asda. So you've seen the traditional way of doing things. And now there's this wave of AI and tech enablement, which you're part of. I'm just wondering whether you regard yourselves as a competitor with Asda, or do you partner with people like Asda? Because the people have got to be able to get their food from somewhere, even if you send them the ideas for it.
Yeah, not a competitor at all. I think we're absolutely a partner because for us, we're not a supermarket. With Plate Up, you get your recipes and you get them delivered by your chosen supermarket. So today that is Tesco or Sainsbury's, and it can be Asda as well. So we're actually bridging that gap and making it easier to fulfill those delivery slots with those big supermarkets. So it's working very closely with them to be able to solve these minor inconveniences that customers do have of how to get dinner on the table. And for us at Plate Up, our mission really is just to make that as easy as possible to shop and cook delicious dinners. And by doing that with the supermarkets like Asda, we can really streamline this process and make it a lot smoother for customers moving forward into the future.
I notice you didn't mention Waitrose there. I assume they just get their butlers to do the shopping for them, which is perfectly fair enough. Is this sort of the coding that you use? Do you think that's going to be transferable to other areas apart from the food industry? Because the idea of using AI and technology to overcome some of the minor stuff to make our lives overall easier rather than having this great big, picture, let's stop global warming. I'm in favor of stopping global warming, but it's not the whole picture. Do you think we should be anticipating a wave of technology to help us with this much smaller stuff?
I think so. And that's where I think the AI and vibe coding can really help because you want to really feel and get the outcome of what it feels like, how we can solve the problem, how we can get there. And AI can help and the tech can help with those minor inconveniences, minor little headaches that you have through your daily life. So for us, obviously, we're tackling the food and space, but that absolutely can branch out into other sectors and other areas like entertainment. So absolutely, I think it definitely can. But as long as we always come back to the grounding point of back to the customers really, and are we making this better? Are we making this easier?
You mentioned vibe coding. That must mean you use vibe coding. We do have an interview on vibe coding coming up later in the series. But I wonder if you could give us a little outline of what that means. I believe it means you don't need so much coding skill.
Yeah, it's not like hard the traditional what you would say coding is. For me, it kind of means like what you want that outcome to feel like and focusing it that way rather than actually the nitty gritty of step down and thinking and like building some very complicated tech with a load of code around it. It's more like that feeling for me and how can we get towards that outcome.
So do you actually have coders there, or is the whole thing automated?
No, we do have developers in PlateUp, yes. Not
I
that
think
hoping
you
the customers would see it though, or
No,
realize
that's
that
fine.
way.
The customer doesn't care about this ultimately. Or what the customer
No.
wants is something that works. The vibe coding expert we have on in a couple of weeks' time, she was saying how you definitely need human oversight. A, otherwise you don't really own the code. The artificial intelligence does, and B, of course, if there is a mistake in it, you've got to have someone there to spot it. I'm just wondering how the ability to rapidly prototype new features because of vibe coding has helped you to respond to real-time feedback from, say, busy parents or busy carers or whoever else needs to use your product.
Yeah, I think one of the things I love most about PlateUp and what we do is we still have that direct dialogue with our customers. So we're not just working solely off faceless data points, but for us, it's really important to still speak to real people in time and A few months ago, I actively reached out to a few of our customers from different funnel points in our flow in the app and said, look, come and have a 30-minute conversation and chat with me one to one. I just want to hear about how you're using PlateUp with very kind of open questions just to understand what was good, what was not good, what were the barriers they were facing. I think having that human interaction still is really, really important. And you can take the data and everything, but you got to overlay it with what you're actually hearing so it can steer you in the right direction. And then that enables us to make changes instantly and quicker because we can see the data, but it can sometimes lead you, I think, or you get I always say I get lost in the trees when you just look at the data alone. Sometimes you need that customer insight and background to be so close to customers to guide you through the trees, through the data. So then you can make the right decisions and you can respond quicker to that real-time feedback that you're getting. And you need that combination of both. You need, I think, the data and everything coming in, but you need that customer overlap so you can understand, is this a singular pain point or is this happening to a large percentage of our user base?
And I hope you don't use the word funnel point when you're actually talking to the customers themselves. They won't have a clue unless they happen to be in marketing.
Never.
They might not care to be part of a funnel point, even if they are way behind closed doors. Now, a lot of the time you read about side hustles and business starts. I'm wondering how this tech era is empowering mothers and parents to launch businesses, perhaps like yours, from the kitchen table. That seems to be the promise that vibe coding is making.
I think it lowers the barriers for anybody new or any new founders or, new people who have an idea wanting to start up a new business. It absolutely does lower that barrier because you can use technology to help you a little bit, but ultimately you've still got to have that insight and customer understanding of what actually is the problem you're trying to solve and are you actually making life easier. And, I think it can be very easy to get carried away, going the other way and building too much tech and too much choices or barriers as customers that it then becomes a annoyance to them rather than actually an ease. And that's something we have, gone the wrong way with at PlateUp sometimes. We think we should add extra filters or add extra features to make it easier for customers. So actually, if they're questioning it or don't know what that actually is going to achieve for them or what that next step might be, then we're not doing the job correctly. So I think it definitely can make people, families, parents at home, easier to start a business as long as you stay close to what you're actually still trying to solve.
You raise an interesting point. I think the old "build it and they will come" is one of the biggest overstatements. Unless it's rubbish or unless you forget to tell them about it, etc., etc. There's a lot more to it than that. So, we're coming to the end of part one. But if you were back at Asda today with the tools we have now, what's the one simple problem of family life you'd try to vibe code into existence for Asda by Monday morning?
For Asda, I think I'd get PlateUp's recipes integrated with their ecosystem.
A lovely unbiased answer there. That's good. And in case people can't wait until part two next week, where can they find out about more about yourself and PlateUp?
For PlateUp, you can download us for free on either of the app stores, Apple or Google Play, and you simply pick your recipes and choose your supermarket for delivery and cook your meals for the week.
Jade de Thorpe of PlateUp, thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome.
And that's it for the first part of this interview, but there will be more. Thank you very much for listening. See you next time.